The grave sites in Jeffersonville are filled with people who place their faith in the prophet for healing. Those diagnosed with terminal illness who recovered all believed that their chances were better because of the prophet. Those who died went to their graves thinking their faith was not as strong as it should have been, never questioning the prophet or his power to heal. Instead, they questioned their own faith. The prophet taught that if you weren't healed after he pronounced, "Thus saith the Lord," it was your faith at fault. I always wondered where the doctrine came from. As much as I searched, I never could find anything even remotely similar to it in the Bible. The sick had faith in God for their healing, not any prophet. And when God declared healing, He never tied His healings to the results of the faith of the person who was healed. Once I learned that the prophet started the Voice of Healing publication to promote his ministry, I searched to find several early issues. Fortunately, they were available in an online archive. Searching through them, I found similar articles in several of the issues describing why all are not healed. Even the very first issue had this disclaimer for those who were not healed in the prophet's recent campaigns. That article was written by Reverend Fred Francis Bosworth. This was a name that I was familiar with in the message. The prophet mentioned Reverend Bosworth 568 times on the recorded sermons that we had access to hear, the earliest in 1947. I found something strange in the very first recording that is available. The first words are, "We're getting some new gadgets for recording." I had never noticed this sentence when I was a believer in the message, yet it was the very first sentence of the very first transcript of the earliest sermon that we could access. It was evident from the quality of later sermons that they did purchase new recording equipment. But why would the prophet announce new equipment on his first recording? Certainly, he didn't start his ministry with gadgets he intended to immediately replace. How many years in the past was the announcement of the old gadgets for recording? I wanted to know more about the prophet's ministry that we no longer had access to see or hear, and I was curious about F.F. Bosworth, who played such a significant part in the prophet's ministry. What made him decide to tour the world with the prophet?